What is Tripped and how did you get here?
So Tripped is a board game that I created many moons ago. It's a race across North America. You have different modes of transportation to get around. You try to imagine The Amazing Race meets Snakes and Ladders. So you're zigzagging across the map. You have cars, boats, trains, planes to get around.
It is a wild race across North America. It's a no-holds-bar race, so your friends may not be your friends at the end of the game.
We're at the point now where we're crowdfunding. We're getting ready to launch, right?
This game has almost been the exact same as the journey to get the game to market.
Yeah.
We're in the pre-launch stage, which means we're getting people to sign up. You get the t-shirt and you get a reduced price in the game if you're an early sign up in the pre-sale.
If somebody wants to jump on right now, where do they go?
They can put their $1 down and gettripped.com.
Welcome to Richard Fortin Presents. We've made it over 50 episodes. This is 51 and I am tripping. Actually, it's a play on words because I'm talking to the founders, the creators of Tripped, the board game, which is coming out very soon. And I'm very excited to be here with Mark Sherry, serial entrepreneur. We hope to get into a little bit of his journey. And Eric Boutilier, amongst a journalist, a writer, and an inventor.
Yes.
A game inventor.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you for having us. A lot of fun to be here.
Let's get right into it. What is Tripped and how did you get here?
So Tripped is a board game that I created many moons ago. And the best way I describe it to people, it's a race across North America. You have different modes of transportation to get around. Basically try to imagine The Amazing Race meets Snakes and Ladders. So you're zigzagging across the map. You have cars, boats, trains, planes to get around. You have different cards to play against people. And ultimately what you're trying to do is you have a passport. You're trying to fill up your passport with what amounts to like stamps to get to different places and try to get back home again. So it's a wacky ride. The game is always changing every round, and people have a lot of fun playing it.
Mark, you've been in the game business before. You've had quite some success with the Game of Things. Mm-hmm. What do you love when you saw this game? Because Eric came into your ecosystem somehow. I think you were introduced through another Eric, and you saw this. What did you like about this? Because you get pitched for stuff all the time.
Yeah, I think what I really liked about it is it's a unique travel game. I haven't seen a game like it in the market, and I played a lot of games over the years. And this one's unique. Unique in it is a wild race across North America, and it's a no holds bar race, right? So your friends may not be your friends at the end of the game, but that what makes it so much fun. And so there's cards you can play against your friends to help you hinder them, and it's also a bit strategic in how you use those cards and when you use those cards, and so you have decisions to make all along the way.
What do we love so much as humans about board games? What is it about sitting around the table together, pulling something out that you think is timeless? Because yes, digital games are out there, and of course there's incredible growth in video game world. What's going on in the world of board games that you think will be, something that you wanted to invest time in, and why do you do this?
I think it's part of the collective experience. When you're sitting around a table with a group of people and you're all part of something together that, oftentimes people are so focused in on their cell phones and, their individual interests. This here, everybody's doing the same thing. They're trying to get to different places. And I think that's what makes it a lot of fun, is to be part of something that you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know where it's going to lead, but at the end of the day, everybody's in the same boat along for the journey. We
played this with our team when we were working for you guys, and boy, did we had fun. And it's a character revealer.
It is. The funny thing is, you can't. Revenge is not good in this game.
Ironically.
Even though you think it would be, it can take you out of the game. And so you have to be strategic in who you pick on, because you want to pull the person ahead back to the pack. but you don't want to make them too mad so that they turn on you.
Yeah.
And so it's a really interesting dynamic.
That's cool.
And I would say because it's a travel game. There's a lot of real life elements that have been included into the game, so people can relate to having to make alternate plans when if they have a flat tire, or if their plane gets diverted and they can't get to their destination. So a lot of it's a lot of everyday experiences that turned into a board game that make it fun, wacky, dynamic, and I think we've played with people as young as 10 and as old as in their 70s or 80s, and most of the people that have played really find enjoyment with this.
Yeah, it really is like simple enough and to get and work on, but also, like you said, there's strategy, there's different elements to it. You can get deep, but you can also play as a family.
Yeah, it's not like Risk. Everybody's probably played Risk in their life. You get Australia, you build up your armies, and you move out of Australia. That's the whole strategy of Risk. And then you try to take South America next. With this game, it's different every time because you got different cities, different ways to go, different people playing, and it's a very dynamic game that way.
Different conditions as well. Like there's times where you'll be like at the top of the map, and you'll have maybe 4 of your places already claimed on your passport, and you're thinking, okay, I'm in really good shape, or I'm ahead, and all of a sudden somebody just plays a trade places card on you, and you're all of a sudden at the other end of the map, and you realize, okay, now how do I get back to where I need to get to? So it doesn't get stale. It's not like Monopoly where if you have hotels on Boardwalk, you know who's going to win. This here, you think you're ahead, and all of a sudden you get pulled back. Or sometimes there's games I've played where people are really far behind, and all of a sudden, because everybody's picking on the leader, it gives the people that are in last place that opportunity to catch up, and sometimes surprise everybody and win.
Are there parallels there with the entrepreneurial journey of getting this to market? Because this is coming to market now. So we're at the point now where we're crowdfunding. We're getting ready to launch, right? Or is it launch? Tell me where you are in the journey. Because
yeah, that's a great analogy. This game has almost been the exact same as the journey to get the game to market.
Yeah.
Because we've gone through 3 name iterations. It was Travel Tantrum. Then it was Traversal, and then it was Tripped. In the beginning, you said tripping, right? We thought tripping as well. We thought, well, there's a negative connotation with that, right? So we went with the passive tense of the word tripped.
And I love it. It looks amazing, of course.
And it took us a while to get to the suitcase idea. We had the first few versions weren't a suitcase at all. And so many iterations it's taken us to get to this final point. And so our journey has been very much like the game. You think you're almost there, and then boom, you're not. And so, but we're here now. We're in the pre-launch stage, which means we're getting people to sign up. You get the T-shirt, and you get a reduced price on the game if you're an early sign up in the pre-sale. And then once the Kickstarter campaign starts, then we turn those pre-sale people into Kickstarter people, and they order the game right off the bat. And so what you want to do with Kickstarter is sell out all your games early, make your target early, and then Kickstarter helps to promote your game within the Kickstarter community. And so we're weeks away from that.
Yep.
We're still in the pre-launch phase. We're still figuring out the advertising, what works, what doesn't work. But we're people can order the game now.
If somebody wants to jump on right now, where do they go?
They can put their $1 down and gettripped.com.
It's like a deposit, so people put that $1 down that entitles them to a reduced price on the game, the T-shirt. But it also makes it's being part of an exclusive club. This is the first time this game is coming out, and I think given the reaction that we've had, Mark and I playing with different people, it's an opportunity to really be part of something special and something that's created right here in Northern Ontario.
Eric, this is your first entrepreneurial venture, is it?
I would say in terms of bringing a product to market, absolutely.
How is it to have a mentor like Mark step in and be able to bring, because Mark's been around this, I mean, you've done quite a few different businesses. How is it to work with somebody else? Because this was an idea that started in your head. But
Right.
did you ever think it would get to this point?
It wasn't my original intention. I actually, the reason why I created Tripped was I wanted to. I was talking about risk earlier. I wanted to create a different map because I grew tired of playing the same map all the time with friends. So I made a map of Ontario, my own map of risk. I designed it in such a way where it worked. It wasn't great, but it worked. And I thought, okay, well, it was interesting. We tried it out a few times, and I thought, well, it'd be more interesting to come up with something a little bit more original than just copying a map. So I spent the better part of a year coming up, taking inspiration from different games that I enjoy, and I put together a concept. It was very crude at the beginning, but when I eventually got in contact with Mark, I knew right away, like with his experience with Game of Things and the experience that his partners bring to the table. Like I had people tell me I was in really good hands, and I see 6 years later, we're
6 years.
6 years
So
when
that is the game.
Five and a bit, I think. I don't know. It's
Five
quite,
and a bit.
maybe
No,
you're
but that I'm inspired. That, do you know how much that inspires me? Because I'm 6 years into my project.
Yeah.
Into this podcast has gone through 4 different brandings. It started as Gateway Live, then it was RFP Presents, and then it was, you know what I mean? Like it takes time, and this is what this podcast is about. It's about the journey of getting there, whatever path we choose, and it's harder than we think.
Yep.
Well, it's taken way longer than I wanted to, but I think all those different variations, different ideas, has made it to what it is now, which is it's a damn good product, right?
Yeah.
And so it's fun. We know it's fun. We know it works, and we know it will sell. And so now it's just about getting the word out.
Getting the word out. That's great.
Yeah.
You also do journalism.
That's right. Yeah. So I work for a francophone newspaper called Le Voyageur, and I mean a lot of my job has since the pandemic there's been a lot of traveling for me because my partner is 12 hours away in Thunder Bay. So I sometimes getting to go see her is an adventure, just like Tripped. But it's I've dabbled with different things like journalism, photography, video production. I do a little bit of television work, so I got my hands in a few different pies.
Right. And I'm sure you can relate to that because you're juggling a few different projects at once.
Yeah, right now I have about 4 companies on the go.
I thought you were retired.
Yeah,
I heard a
this is
rumor.
retirement.
That's what I was.
It's not 7, it's only 4.
You're confusing us.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
seven.
funny.
It was 7?
I think there's been 10. I think I've been involved with 10 companies in the last 20 years. I've sold 5 or 6 of them now, and there's 4 left. There's the Game of Things, there's Tripped, there's Nexo, which is an explosive company. We developed a new way of manufacturing explosives.
Okay.
And then there's One Red Maple.
That's
the
yeah. And they're really in different lines of business.
very different lines of business. I find everything interesting. That's probably a weakness or a strength. I don't know.
It's the curiosity. You have that curiosity.
I'm crazy, one or the other. But yeah, they're all been in very different businesses, but they're all the same in a lot of ways, right? You need really excellent people to work with who have a great idea and have some passion, and you have to develop an excellent marketing strategy to move the product, right? Doesn't matter what you're in. To consumer is more difficult though than business to business, guaranteed. The consumer is always fickle
Because of the noise. Problem.
and it's hard to break through and a whole bunch of things. Where if you go to business, you say my product's going to save you $500,000 a year. It's a pretty simple sale, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've dabbled in all those spaces, and there's probably a whole other podcast you can do on that. But yeah, the Game of Things have sold over 5 million copies since we started.
That's incredible success,
Yeah.
isn't it? So, but again, for me, it's the parallel between this game that literally like gets us on an adventure as a group, as a people competing, but also, like you said, not having to frustrate each other too. There has to be strategy, like in life.
Yeah.
you know.
You have to, everything is timing, and I think when you it's not enough to just have that card. It's when you play it. I mean, when we're it makes no sense to play a trade places card if the person is just one quad over. Usually, if you really want to travel really far distances without actually using any of your moves, that's when you might want to use that card. Or at the end of the game, if you're trying to get back home. If somebody's on an island and they don't have any boats, well, you might want to play. You can't get on a longshoreman strike card, which you can't get on any boats that turn. It's a lot of his timing, and I think that's what makes it very relatable for people, because there's a lot of things in real life that when you're trying to endeavor with something, it's timing is key.
And it's not a straight line from A to B.
No, it is not.
And the thing is, you have to be strategic as well in terms of what Eric was saying. But one of the things I do, and I'll give you one of my strategies away, is I don't try to be first. I mean, what other game do you not try to be first? Because if you're first in this game, people are going to pull you back to that pack, right? And so that's one strategy. The second strategy is, you're getting around to the end of the game, and let's say you go next, and I'm pretty sure you can win on the next hand. So I have to stop you, right? But you might be the second person to go. There may be a person between me and you, and so I have a card that's somewhat punitive, but it's probably not going to stop you. Do I play it and hope the other person will play it? So you've got all those decisions to make. And so, one thing we do try to tell people, you can't table talk, saying, "Don't worry, I got him. I got Richard. I will nail him to the wall." Right? But we stop that part of it. But it's fun.
What's really neat is, like, a lot of it. The game is open-ended in some ways where, there's a lot of we don't you don't have to play things to the letter. You decide when you want to play things. There's certain cards you have to play immediately, but generally speaking, it's your choice. You decide what you think is best for you for that turn, and you hope for the best.
I'd love to hear a little bit of this friendly rivalry with Sudbury and North Bay, who there's one question mark on this map that you guys showed me. And it's between Sudbury and North Bay. So what's going on with that? What's the idea? Well, how do people participate?
Yeah. Well, that came out because of the playoffs, the OHL playoffs. We thought, we started to look into it. When was the last time the Sudbury Wolves played the North Bay team? We had the Centennials before, now it's a battalion. And it was years back. It was
92.
92. It's like, how could that actually be possible? It's like, how can a Canadian team never won the NHL final since 1993? It seems inconceivable, right? And we said, well, let's have a little fun with this. And so we got it, going just slightly after the playoffs, and we thought it would be fun. So we had originally North Bay on the map, and now it's Sudbury's trying to knock us off the map. And so now we have a space there for either North Bay or Sudbury, and whoever votes.
So it's a vote, and we have until when?
They have until the end of June. So it's igottripped.com to vote.
Yeah.
And the other one is gettrippedgame.com to purchase.
To actually become a supporter.
Yeah, you put $1 down, and that reserves the T-shirt and the special price.
You got the mayors involved of each city. I saw a clip on that.
Yeah, it was actually funny. Because there was, we played a shortened version of the game, and Peter was ready to win, right? And he just had a move to win, but instead of just winning, he played a card on the Sudbury guy, on the Sudbury mayor.
My boss, no less.
Yeah, and did something to him, and then moved and won the game. So it was just like that little extra, it was fine.
But it's because we're North Bay is smaller. We gotta have that. We gotta have our elbows up in the corner.
Yeah, I think that we got a bit of advantage in some ways because all our friends and family from North Bay, so they already are voting. Yeah. So we're almost 2-1 ahead of Sudbury right now. So we're going to Sudbury on Saturday to a game show night or game night in Sudbury, and we're gonna stoke the fire there.
Yeah, and it's going to be an opportunity to introduce the game on the ground level in Sudbury, and to show people just how much fun it is. So we've done a lot of that groundwork here, and it's just about trying to scale it to other areas.
Obviously, I'm biased, but I hope the same thing happens in the game that happened in the playoffs, which is the Battalion won.
Well,
North Bay.
Just so we know, we're spending equal dollars in North Bay and
Oh,
celebrate
yes.
on
Good to know.
social media and whatever.
Okay.
So if we spend $1,000 in North Bay, we'll spend $1,000 in Sudbury, and the winning city gets $1,000 to the charity of the mayor's choice.
What's been the hardest part of this process for you, if you're being honest?
I would say it's just having that persistence. I've told Mark now a few times about how I can appreciate what it takes to try to bring something to market, because it's one thing to have a good idea, but it's all that work that goes on behind the scenes to see it through. That's why I'm really grateful to have Mark, Tom, Ted, the whole team in my corner here, because there's a lot of really good ideas out there, but the execution, that's what it takes to see it through, and I'm very grateful to have them.
And Tom's been doing the lion's share of the work. He's kind of the quarterback that does, all the work around games. He's a creative director, so all the work around the game that you see in the box, the inside of the box, all of that stuff.
It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
He's done a great job.
Yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part of, you've done 10 businesses now, what is the hardest part that people don't realize, I think, of the entrepreneurial journey?
Just how hard it is. Everybody thinks that, that's, how difficult can it be? You made a game, that's, probably a few months worth of work, and then you threw it out in the market and you're a success now. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. It's a grind. Yeah. Everything I've been in is a grind. It doesn't matter if it's, I've owned franchises, you still got to manage them, you still got to look after them. Otherwise, they too can go bankrupt. Mm-hmm. And so it's just an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't think people who have regular jobs understand the stress and the pressure that entrepreneurs are under.
Right.
Because it's sink or swim.
Sure. And I know
there's no safety net, there's nothing.
Right. And I know you guys, the first place you go sometimes to raise money is friends and family. And that's, when you're ready and you have your idea and you think everything's going to happen, you go borrow money or ask for money, but then you got to kind of deliver,
right?
And it's your friends and family, their money as well. So there's pressure there that's sometimes challenging.
Absolutely. And I've done it twice now, and there's nothing that motivates you more than not losing your friend's money.
Yeah.
Regardless of success and money and whatever, that's a huge motivator, right? You will do almost anything to be successful. Mm-hmm. Work 12-hour days, 7 days a week, whatever you can to be successful. And so, we're fortunate that we've used some of the finances within Quinn and Sherry, which is the Things game, to push this game forward.
I mean, think about how many weekends we've spent, testing the game out, fine-tuning it, trying to brainstorm ideas in terms of wording on cards. Like there's a lot of, I can't count how many hours we've spent on this.
I mean, the Game of Things was out about 23 years ago. And I played this game more than the Game of Things. And just because we tested and we tested it, because you don't want to have something that just it's an obvious, mistake, right? Yeah. So one of the cards is the deportation card or the swap places card, right? And so my daughter, she's up at the top of the world, up in Greenland, and she needs to get back down into Central America. And that's where her home is. And so she plays the deportation card on herself to deport herself home. I said, oh, that's not our interpretation of the card, but it doesn't say in the card you can't do that. So it's like, okay, we got to go back and fix that card.
As you play it.
Yeah.
As you play it. And I'm sure you've heard positive feedback. I know when we did with our team, it's easy to say when all the work's been done and you play and you go, oh yeah, this is a winner. Yeah. This is going to work. You just feel it because for me of the chemistry that happens because of what the game does around the table. For me, this is where it gets interesting, as opposed to playing a video game alone or in your headphones. This is about community.
Absolutely.
For me, this is family. This is community. This is like there's a social element to a game like this. You know, I know your price point. I heard your price point is what, $70 around there.
It's going to be, I think,
$80.
60 with you buy the T-shirt, I think, and 65 as part of the
Something like that. Yeah, we'll have to
as part of the
double
Kickstarter
check.
campaign.
But you think of how much a game costs, or going to the movie these days, where you
Right.
spend 3 hours, and if you were to with 2-3 kids and a parent going to the movie,
we'll save you money.
Yeah.
will save you money, and you're gonna. I mean, you get to know each other. You get. I mean, there's a real social element that I think is intangible.
We play a lot. My family plays an awful lot of games, and this is a favorite now. But it just brings family together. And the really interesting with this game, now that you mentioned that, is that when you're playing the game, usually when you're playing a game, you're just worried about yourself, a little bit about your competition, but mostly about yourself. In this game, when it gets down to the end, you got to pay attention to every single person around the table, because Richard could win next turn. Oh, Eric could win next turn. I got to slow them down, right? So every person you start to really pay attention. Not so much at the beginning. Everybody's like just learning and getting going. But when you get past 4 cities, you've got 4 cities now, and you got 2 more to go. Everybody starts to pay attention, and it becomes like you have to pay attention to 6 people, right? Not just yourself. And so you're constantly into the game. You're not like playing your turn and then going do the dishes and come back. You're watching.
So now you guys have played this game together probably quite a few times.
Quite a few
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Who's the most competitive?
Oh, jeez.
I think that's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Between the two
Yeah,
of you,
we're
really?
we're both pretty. I
guess that's the type of people who like games.
Yeah, well, the
People who
nice
like
thing is that we're so used to playing that we're not worried about hurting each other's
No.
feelings. So it's like, sorry, Eric, I'm deported. Sorry, Eric, I'm going to leave you stranded on an island next turn.
I got broad shoulders now, so that's what's really neat about it is it's just part of life. Like you go with the motions. You figure you deal with one. If life gives you lemons, you try to make lemonade. You try to work through it to get to wherever you need to get to.
It's funny because we played the game a lot, with newcomers, right? So we're always at an event and we're showing people the game, and so sometimes the 2 of us are playing with the other people. And so, instead of us playing the bad cards on the newcomers, we just hammer each other, just to show them it's okay, right? And then they join in the fun, right? But
I mean, I gave you the screws last time we played.
I think it takes one go through for people to get where what's happening, and then on the second one they feel they know. And but it's also a quick learning process. Like that's the other thing with games for me. Is sometimes I get kind of intimidated with the process. Like it takes a while to learn. Whereas this, I got into it pretty quick.
Yeah, you were into it. You were into it.
We were all into
it.
Well,
the funny, just what you mentioned happens all the time. People are just learning the first game, and they get to the end, they go, okay, I want to play again, because they know now. They go back and they relive the whole game and the mistakes they made, thinking they could change their outcome. And they think, I think I can win. I think I know what to do now. Unfortunately, it's not going to help them. But
the learning curve, usually within a few turns, people pick up the concept. It's not. We try to make it as simple and easy to pick up. And that's one of the nice things about it. We classify it as a light strategy game. So there's enough strategy in the game where it's not going to get boring after playing a few times, but not too complicated where it's really hard to grasp. Like it's going to take you a whole weekend to figure it out.
So in this first version, though, we're talking about Central America and North America, right? On the map. Yeah, right. What I love about the potential because once this takes off, is that you could also now create another game for Europe. You can create. I mean, this idea could really go
for Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Empires, right? And we can even just create it for a city.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get down to that. You
it's
can take
true. In North Bay, we have the 5 neighbor.
Airport Hill.
You could do.
You might have
That's
to
actually-
change your modes of transportation a little bit. We're not going
Yeah.
to fly people around in a
But
Smitty,
the idea is applicable.
yeah.
Oh,
it is.
totally.
Could be Roman Empire, right? You could take that, and you're traveling by a horse is a little faster than traveling by foot, and those types of things.
That's very cool. Okay, so now end of June, the vote for gets us into sort of the first version. The crowdfunding happens over the summer. Do we think that by Christmas people will be able to have this at home so that they can?
Those that order
everybody-
right now will. So what we're doing is we're gonna order 3,500 games in advance.
Yes.
Of probably the next 4 weeks we'll be placing that order.
Yeah.
And so those games will come in probably late September.
Yeah.
And we'll have them for Christmas. But if Kickstarter goes crazy, which we're hoping it does, and we go above those numbers, it might be a little bit more challenging to get them here, depending on how crazy what happens, right?
So for people out there, they need to know to get on that list early.
Get on the
There
list
is an
now. Be
advantage,
the
really,
first.
for a Christmas.
Yeah.
For a Christmas. No, but really, right?
This is we're going to have a limited edition. You see on the box right there. So the next edition may not look like this, may not feel like this, and so it's one of a kind. And so
I mean, with the latch, the latches, we got metal latches that open up like a real suitcase.
Yeah, it's so well
the
done.
handle, we're going to have like a nice faux leather handle, so that
So well done.
it's going to look it's going to look and feel like a suitcase.
Yeah.
And you put that on your shelf, like it's going to stand out. It's easy to carry with you. Like if you're taking it somewhere, you just grab the handle and off you go.
So cool. So well done, guys. I'm so proud of you guys. It's inspiring for me as an entrepreneur to hear, to be honest, I know how crazy this sounds, but to hear the struggle of you guys getting this to this point. Because it looks so beautiful, and like you said, it's easy. Ideas are easy. Execution is everything,
Yeah.
and it's not easy. And for me, for you guys to share that and be at this point, it is truly inspiring. So congratulations, and then of course as the North Bayite, I'm encouraging everybody to go vote to keep Sudbury off that map. No offense, my Sudburyans, but. Let's get North Bay on this map. Go check out the websites. We're going to tag it. We're going to make sure that everybody knows where to find you guys. But is there anything else that we want to make sure people out there know while you're in here, while we're mic'd up?
Well, just the Sudbury North Bay thing is interesting because North Bay or Sudbury doesn't have to be on the next map, right? So this could be the only place where North Bay might get on a map, right? So if that's the kind of changes that could happen.
Yeah.
And so, you should be incentivized to get a copy now.
Let's get out there.
I mean, the only other thing I can think of adding would be for parents that are looking for a game. There's a lot of fun aspects to the game, but there's also a little bit of a subtle educational part to it. When you're looking up your cities on the map, we have what we call a grid system, so that on the cards it shows like a coordinate. So if you can't find a place on the map, you just look at the coordinate. You go row A, column 1. And your city's in that little quadrant, and a little subtle teachable moment there
It's
too.
true. My favorite show is Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And there's a bit of that, right? That you do learn geography.
Yeah, well, there's also that, but I'd also argue that it's a good game for kids because they have to learn that bad things are going to happen to them, and they're going to have to deal with it without losing their cool.
Yeah.
Right. And so that in itself is a great educational lesson for kids because life isn't always a bed of roses, and so
Totally.
you have your ups and downs, and you got to deal with it.
Adaptation.
I read a quote by Roger Federer that was saying he won. Roger Federer, of
54% of his games, right?
But what's interesting is he won 80% of the games.
Yes. And 54.
Within the games, he won 54% of the points.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he says the difference between the winners and the losers are the ones that recover fast from the loss.
Yeah.
That you don't get hung up on the lost point, that you lose the next point, that you can just get over it because guess what? You're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
Even when you're the best in the world.
Like,
so to me, that stat just made me...
Like Ted Lasso, he said, what's the best animal to be is the goldfish, because they only have like 4 minutes of memory. So if it happened in the 5th minute, they forget all about it.
That's right.
And you have to.
And I'm sure
especially-
when we look back at this in 3 years, I hope that we look back at this 3 years from now and you go, yeah, we got through the tough stuff, but it was all worth it.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
I hope so
really do
too.
deserve it. You're both great guys and deserve all the success that's coming. Everybody, Tripped, check it out. Go find the websites. Mark, Eric, thank you, merci.
Ça me fait plaisir.
Yeah, we'll do a little French something, voiceover or something.
Definitely.
Make sure we go get those Quebecers involved too. Do we have Quebec on the map?
Yeah, there's about a half dozen cities in Quebec on the map.
Okay,
so.
perfect. That's
Complete
good.
with the accent aigu, accent circonflexe.
good.
So
We spelled every city in the language of that country. So we didn't, take a city and
Yeah.
make it English, the English spelling of it.
I mean, La Habana is Havana in Cuba, and we have
Again, more education.
Yeah, Montreal has the accent aigu on the E, so
That's
just
wonderful.
little things like that.
It always
Tales of-
amazes me that we actually changed the names of other cities.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like an extra level of effort. You think of Rome, they call it Roma,
Yeah.
and we changed it to Rome.
Yeah. It's
Why?
crazy.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all.
It really does.
It's I mean there's some places on the map that Mark and I still struggle to pronounce, but it's just part of the learning and just discovery of new cultures, new areas, new languages. So
Well, for anybody out there, that'll be the best buck you spend to reserve your limited edition of Tripped. Go vote. Can't wait to see this roll out. Really, congratulations, guys. Bravo.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well done.
Appreciate it.
Let's go support these guys. Ciao for now. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like. Hey, what's your website? You named the website.
Yes, the
So those
website
are the two
is get.tripgame.com.
Or-
The website is just tripgame.com.
Go there and follow. And you guys have all the socials?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave
Go
you one
follow
of these
this.
and you can put it
Go,
up.
go follow them on social media and give them a subscribe and follow because it's going to be fun to see how this gets tripped all around the world.
Yeah, we'll
It's just a
record
matter
our
of time.
journey.
Yeah, let's do it. Bravo, guys. Thanks for coming in. Adam, we're good?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.